What's up, Libra? This is your home. Excuse me. This is your home light security reading for the month of August for all Libra signs. If you've never watched any of these videos before, please check right down there. Depending on if you're a sun, moon, rising Libra, it will depend on how to view this the best. Because if you are a core Libra, then I'm pretty much in your core energy, sun Libra. If you are a moon Libra, I'm pretty much more in your emotions. And if you are a rising Libra, I'm pretty much in your three-dimensional world, more or less. Now, Spirit is telling me for you guys to step back, because they're pushing me back, which usually means for me, stop, slow down, take a good look around, because there's things you might be missing. On a astrological level, you are in your 11th house, which is going to definitely be dealing with the outer world and the groups and the committees and the memberships and those relationships as to what is going on. That's going on through the Lion's Gate, but wherever the sun is technically the energy in which you are walking through. Now, I'm pulling out cards for you, and when I get into the astrology, I'll read a little bit more into that. But let me see, what else does Libra need to hear for the month of August? What else does Libra need to hear for the month of August? First thing is the world. Your world is changing. It is definitely blooming, expanding, growing, shifting, changing. Plain and simple. The world. It is the seed. It is the birth of something new. But Spirit is saying some of you are very insecure about this shift, and in a form, I want to say rightfully so. It is because you're learning how to be a better Libra. And what I mean by that is I do give Libra signs a hard time, because I have a lot of Libras that I've loved dearly in my life. And what I mean by that is you guys are, Libra is justice. It is balance. It is harmony. But 90% of the time, the Libra sign is showing you where it's not in balance, where it's not in harmony, where it's not in justice. And Libras, you guys are a very bad habit of putting yourself on the back burner and trying to create harmony and justice. And what you do is you keep yourself from having it because you're trying so hard to make it for everybody else. And what I'm getting for some of you is that's relationship grief, is that you're holding on to relationship grief. And that's why I said rightfully so. But your world is changing. What I'm getting is the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles, which is also Induous, according to runes. And this is your four. And when I say it that way, what I mean is your four equal your one. Your one wholeness. Your mental, your spiritual, your physical, and your emotional. If any of those four are out of balance, then you are out of balance. And it's very hard to be in balance. It's very easy to emotionally get, a little bit more pulled, or physically in the three-dimensional world, a little bit more pulled, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. And balance is your wholeness. That is your source energy. That is your soul energy. That is where the harmony and the balance is found and the justice is created. Okay, you have the Four of Pentacles, which is asking you to try to step into this energy as you come into this brand new seeding, this brand new beginning. It is asking you to ground into your new rebirth. Ground yourself into this new rebirth. Be part of all four elements, not just like, and I'm getting very Gemini energy here, meaning not just logic, not just emotion, fully all, encompass all. Ground yourself in the full four. emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical, and then find the balance. But what I'm getting is also the King of Pentacles, which is finding the confidence and the serene truth from within. This is coming into your soulfulness, into your oneness, into your wholeness. And this is why I said in the beginning, I love Libras, but I also give Libras a hard time because they are so big on wanting to create harmony and balance for everything and everybody that they put themselves on the back burner, and then they end up accidentally creating the imbalance. Sometimes you create balance and harmony in areas where it wasn't meant to be, because you are supposed to be part of the scale. You're supposed to be on the scale. You're not supposed to be the scale. You're not Libra. You are a Libra. So you need to be on the scale, one side or the other, to give yourself the true balance, the true harmony. You can't be the scale. You are a human just like everybody else, and you are just as important to the equation. And you need to remember that. Now, with that being said, what else? Okay, thank you. Let's see what this deck has to say, and then we'll go into the astrology. You moved. It's going to have a lot of relationship energy going on, a lot of overcoming some insecurity, following through with your talents, and letting go of the heavy. The abysmal, in the dark, finding something new, rebirthing, taking the chance, taking the risk, stepping into the danger, stepping into the insecurity so that you can actually overcome it. This is being overwhelmed with some of the darker emotions, facing the fear, and going into the risk taking. Then it is splitting apart, separating it, no longer being a part of it. It is learning to limit so that you can give away into something new. It is the collapse of the thing that is no longer good. It is the surrendering of the energy that is no longer good, letting go of the energy that is no longer good, giving death its proper death, and moving on to a new place, which goes along with the very first card, the World. So this is definitely a new beginning, a new direction, but it's not one that's going to go like that. This is going to take some time. This is definitely something that is going to be working into the next 6 months, okay? Into direction and overcoming that insecurity, finding ways of getting rid of that heavy that you hold on to. And then trusting in yourself in new levels. It is new levels of growth. It is very positive, but it is not going to happen just like that. Okay, now with that being said, before I get into the actual astrology, let me give you a rundown of what the planetary movement's going to be. You have the Lion's Gate, which is on the 8th, yes. However, the energy is not going to just end on the 8th. It's still going to be kind of in this energy, and then it's going to go through the full moon and into the new moon. And I'm keeping it that way because I want you guys to see that the Lion's Gate is in Leo, but you're going to have a full moon taking place at the end of the month in Virgo. So you're going directly from one house to the next. And it is definitely stirring up energies that's not just going to end with that Lion's Gate or that full moon. It's projecting the energy into that new moon at the end of the month. And then how is it going to be redirected from that new moon's energy? Very important. Now, you have the full moon, which is taking place in Aquarius, and it's going to take place on the 11th. Now, that's pretty much directly across from the Lion's Gate. So that right there is speaking about rules, walls, and boundaries in one form or another. Now you have it on the full moon. Venus is also moving into Leo. So the sun will still be here, but Venus is going to be coming in, bringing extra sensitivity to the energy. Now you have Mars on the 20th, moving into Gemini. The sun will be moving into Virgo on the 22nd. Uranus is in shadow. It will go retrograde on the 24th, which makes that incredibly important in energy. It is very important. Mercury is moving into Libra on the 25th, and then that new moon takes place in Virgo on the 27th. Now, wherever the sun is the house that you are technically walking through. Libras, that puts you in your 11th and your 12th house for this month. And I'm saying it that way because on the 20th, the sun enters Virgo, which puts that in your 12th house. So mid-month, depending on your birthday, technically it shifts from the 11th to the 12th. Now, you have the 11th house is your groups, your memberships, your committees. It's the people and the energies of those people and those committees and those groups that either support the dreams, goals, and ambitions or not. And then going into the 12th house directly after, on the 20th, coming up as we enter that new moon, which will take place in your 12th house, is getting into the relationships that you have with these groups, these committees, the sensitivity, the truths as to Venus is not love. Venus speaks to you about what is good for you and what supports you and makes you feel secure, but it also tells you about what's lied to you, what's betrayed you, what is harming you. And Venus is coming into Leo right after the Lion's Gate, into this 11th house. It's coming from the 10th house into the 11th house. So you're looking at your outer world, and where are you conscious to what you're sensitive to? Where are you conscious to what is good for you in the groups and the committees and these memberships of what's supporting and what is not? What is denial of who is truly supporting you or not? This is as you go from the 11th, 12th, the 10th, 11th, and the 12th house. This is what this energy for this month is speaking to you about. And it's asking you of your groups and your committees and your memberships. Are these people supporting you or not? Is there grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities? Where are you honest and forthcoming with yourself versus where you're telling yourself that it's acceptable when you know damn well it's not? And what are you going to do about that? See, because the 12th house is our grief, sorrow, shame, blame. It's our skeletons in the closet. But this is your Virgo energy, which means it's detail and anal retentive. So there's very much important details within these groups and these memberships that you keep as to paying attention to these details as if they are truly supporting you, helping you grow and flourish and start a new cycle or not. Are they the people that will pat you on your back, tell you what you want to hear just to keep you in the same spot? Or are they actually helping you see where you need to grow and where you are growing or not? It's your unconscious coming into consciousness. And it's being shown to you according to the goals, the dreams, the ambitions. And are you able to actually achieve them, reach them? Are the people that are surrounding you, the energies of these people, do they support that growth? Or are they just supporting their own growth, kind of taking from yours? It may not even be that they mean to. It's just sometimes that's the way it goes. Sometimes you're not on the same wavelength anymore. Sometimes you're not on the same vibration anymore. It's asking you to pay attention and critique this. It's asking you to critique the unconscious energies that are being brought to your attention, and to actually pay attention when they're brought to your attention, so that you can start to address how to address changing, and then shifting it into new directions, new healing, new beginning, enlightening the character that you are by showing you specific character flaws that are not supporting you, as well as the character flaws in the company that you keep. This is part of what this whole energy is the Lion's Gate is growing. It is showing its sensitivity to you. It is showing you where you're nurturing or neglecting yourself, your dreams, your ambitions, your conscious truths, and how to address what is being brought to light, so that you can then critique the character and what you are trying to create and bring forward into the light, as well as the way you view the world, and bring that harmony and balance in, securing who you are, so that you can truthfully be on the scale, not the scale. And you can find that you're just as important as everybody else in these relationships, not on the back burner. So this is a very good thing if you're allowing this to show itself. Now, the thing is, as you come into your first house, most astrologers are not going to be talking to. The reason why relationships have been so hard on you and such a picking is because your first house of Libra has planetary energy in it that most signs don't. Most astrologers don't speak about. It has Haumea in it, and it has Make in it. Haumea is the collective consciousness. Make is the lotus flower. It is the growth of the lotus flower, and speaking to you about, are you actually blooming into a higher spiritual truth? Are you blooming into a higher vibrational energy? Are you blooming into where you want to see the world, or is it still... Remember, the lotus flower grows in a swamp. So can you not see the light? Are you stuck in the freaking swamp? And then in the relationships, are these relationships in the swamp? Or are they in the light, showing all of their beautiful truths, even when they're not beautiful? Haumea is the collective consciousness. It's being brought into your consciousness, whether you want it to or not, of who you are, your character, how you choose to view the world, and the relationships of your life. Now, directly across from that is Aries, your relationship zone. And everything in Aries is in retrograde. But I'm going to get to that when we get to Aries. I'm just helping you to understand why you have so much relationship scrutiny going on in your heart and soul. And why it's so important, because this is leading you out of the idea of Libra scales, of you being the one who creates the harmony and justice, and more into being able to truly create harmony and justice for your own life, not be on the back burner. And how to find healthy, successful relationships by being part of them. Soulfully part of them. Okay, now, when you get into your second house, your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem, this is what the South Node is. This is saying all of those habits of wanting to create it for everybody else. Yes, that's wrong. It's not saying that you don't want to see happiness for everybody else, but you aren't less. You're just as important. The South Node is everything that you're good at, but it doesn't serve you. It keeps you from growing. It keeps you from the transformational change. And the South Node in your second house says, I'll give all that love to everybody but myself. Wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. It says that you need to acknowledge your love for yourself is just as important in any relationship that you have, and that you have to give yourself that love. You have to give yourself that worth, that value. And it is begging you to count on you. It is begging you to see you. Because once the South Node's gone, it can't be here to teach this lesson for 12 more years. Actually, it might be 13. Because of how long it takes for it to travel. And it doesn't have that much time left here. So it's definitely getting into, in order for you to have healthy relationships, first relationship has to be with self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Plus, that's the manifestation house, the money house. That right there is what will shift everything in your life. By believing and loving you. All right. Now, when you get into your third house, there's nothing there. So it's not working for you or against you. When you get into your fifth and sixth house, that's Capricorn and Aquarius. This is where the full moon is going to take place. And I'm giving it to you in two houses because of the way it plays together. That fifth house is your creative zone. Your fun, your ability to create, your ability to enjoy, your zest of life. But your sixth house is your daily routines, your mundane tasks. It's the energies that you consume, which also consume you. And also goes into the relationships of the people, places, and things. Saturn is here. The full moon is here. Which is saying rules, walls, and boundaries. Are you having time to enjoy your life? Are you having time to explore what makes you happy? Are you having time to explore life? To explore your inner fun, your inner child, your inner sexuality, your inner creativity? Because if you're busy doing so many duties, so many activities for other people possibly, because that's also the working environment area, this is asking you, are you taking the time, or you have so much on your plate that you don't even have time to enjoy your plate? Rules, walls, boundaries. Setting the proper boundaries so that you can enjoy you. You can create you. You can explore you. You can have fun with you. You can have fun with the rest of the world. If your plate's too full, it's time to shift those rules, laws, and boundaries and make time for there to be things on your plate that you want to be on your plate. Not what the world says has to be on your plate. That is your full moon coming directly out of the Lion's Gate. Now, trying to pull it up again. I do everything from my phone. Your seventh house. This is exactly where we started off here. Your seventh house is Aries. But it's in retrograde. Eris, trouble, toil, strife, injustice. Vampire syndrome. Meaning, I would rather hold on to this because this is what I know. I would rather pick it apart. I would rather just harness it and bitch and moan about it than to let it go. Please take this from my cold, dead hands. I don't really want it anymore. But I ain't about to give it to you because I'm not done bitching about it. That's Eris. Holding on to the lower vibrations of the lower relationships. Chiron, wounded healer. I can see everybody else's relationships and why they don't work, but I have trouble holding and understanding how to create my own because I'm still holding on to that. Jupiter is abundance, manifestation. Are you feeding him with that lower vibration? Because if you're still holding on to all of the lower vibration, the lower relationships that aren't healthy, the idea, the characteristics of everybody else is more important and I'm not, then you're not going to have a healthy relationship. Jupiter can only give you abundance of what you feed it. And everybody's in retrograde. And all of them are going to be in retrograde in that relationship house until December. November, Jupiter will retrograde back into Pisces. But that will go right back into the relationships of the groups, the memberships that you're part of. And are you having time to enjoy you and the life you are living? So this is saying, are you allowing the relationships to tell you how to enjoy your life? Because if you are, then it's time to change them. And start seeing them from a higher perspective and people who are on the same vibration. And will allow you to work with them on enjoying your own life. Instead of being stuck doing things that you don't really want to do in the first damn place. Now, that's important because it will backfire and slap you in the face come November if you're doing this wrong. But right now, it's trying to help you see how to love yourself so that you can have good, healthy relationships. Now, your 8th house, again, rules, laws, and boundaries. This is Uranus. And it's in shadow going into retrograde. Uranus is in Taurus. On a universal scale, it is the manifestation house. It is the money house. It is the self-worth, self-value, self-esteem house. And this is your 8th house, the relationships house, on how to make it last, grow, and continuously be something that is flourishing and growing and something you want to be part of. And it's saying right off the bat, if you don't have self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, if you can't be your own individuality, your own individual person in these relationships, then you ultimately are the possession of the relationship. And therefore, your manifestation will grow according to the possession of the relationship. So this is saying you have to come back into your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, your creative energy, your authentic self, your power, your opportunity to discover what you want by setting the boundaries. Calling back the power to you by being just as important as everybody else. And Uranus is going to be in retrograde all the way up for the rest of the year, I believe. So this is also speaking to you about really getting deep within what is going on in these relationships and if they're healthy. Now, you have your 9th house is Gemini. Mid-month, on the 20th, Mars moves into Gemini. This is giving you more of an oomph to be more open-minded, to take more action about the spirituality of your energy, your ethics, your morals, what you really believe in. And at the same time, question and explore what you believe in. Your psychic ability. Is it more ethics, more logic, more creativity? It should be balanced. Your 4 again, emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical. That equals your 1 wholeness. And this is saying your inner warrior is going to be entering on the second half of the month, going into this energy of your psychic energy, of your spiritual energy, of your religious energy, of your ethics and your morals. So this is asking you really in your fire energy, how balanced are you? Where will you take it? Are you taking it from a wisdom warrior? Or what you were taught. And now I have to force it to stay that way. See, because this is supposed to be a growth. So you shouldn't be forcing it to stay. It should be going through transformational change. Now, as you get into your th house, it takes us back to Venus leaving, but who will still be here is Lilith in Cancer, which is, on a universal scale, your inner emotional security. It's the 4th house of your inner emotional security. You can't lose you. You can misplace you. You can have pieces of you that you haven't spoken to in years. You can have pieces of you that you still don't know yet. But you can't misplace you. It's just you haven't found you. Now, with Lilith being here, this is saying the 11th house is the groups, the memberships, and the committees. Again, to support your goals, dreams, and ambitions. Are you giving your time and energy away to support everybody else's dreams? Or are you taking time to support yours? This is saying your inner emotional security comes from knowing not to be submissive, not to give it away, but to believe in yourself and to breathe life back into it. I love you. See you next month.